10.
Hello everyone and welcome to Just Put Paint on It with me, Skari, your grateful host. Wonderful co-hosts and even more amazing guests. This is your weekly show, twice a week, Thursdays and Fridays, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we sit down live with personalities from all over the tabletop hobby world, and we sit and chat and talk shop. Thanks a lot for tuning in and hanging out today. Our guest, or my guest, because Tanya Gates is off sick today, but hopefully she feels better. She'll be back for one of the next episodes. We have Samguinius40k. Hey Sam, what's going on?
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I'm really glad you came on. For anybody who doesn't know, Sam is a very humble guy, but he was the #1 ITC player, NOLA Canada last season. So congratulations, buddy. Nice to have you on.
Much appreciated.
You're also one of the top Blood Angel players in the world. You just didn't go to LVO, or you more than likely would have been #1 because, you know, you play Blood Angels.
Yeah.
And very excited to just chat with you and hang out.
Me too. Super excited. Always a pleasure with you, man.
So tell us a little about yourself, where you're located. Tell us a little about your YouTube channel that you just recently got kick-started and got up off the ground. And what are you working on today if you're doing any hobby?
Yeah, so I mean, Sam Procopio. I'm located in Toronto, Canada. Not too far away from the Archon himself. So really great place to be and to have at in a pretty central location, to be pretty accessible to a lot of the community, which is awesome. I started the channel Samguinius40k, just as a passion project. I think that's how all of these things usually start out and begin. But yeah, just really my main focus of the channel is just to help others who may feel lost or who may not know really where to go with their Blood Angels, and always just remind them that there is hope and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So I mean, that's kind of the inspiration behind where my channel and my passion's coming from. So I mean, I'm sure you can relate to that, Brisbane.
Oh yeah, definitely can relate. It's one of those things where you love a faction so much for a while, and it might not be the best faction, namely Blood
Right.
Angels, right, or any Space Marines. Up until recently, I do feel like Armor Contempt is injecting a little bit of life into the faction personally.
Oh yeah.
But I've been playing some of my Black Templars, and I'm exceedingly excited by what I am finding. So we'll get to that in a second. But Armor Contempt's a big deal, right? Christian, hey Christian, what's going on? Blood Angels hype in the chat, says Christian. Of course, coming to hang out and support his captain.
It's my bestie right there.
There you go. Christian and I had a fantastic game at the team event in London. That was a very, very fun game. And
heard it was awesome.
We have just come back from the Can Hammer team tournament, which was a really fun time. It was a 24 team, 5-person team, 40k team tournament with WTC style scoring, so differential scoring. However, they did player optimized terrain, which is a first for me at a team tournament. That was definitely very interesting.
Yeah, that was definitely nothing like I've ever seen before.
Right.
Obviously, I'm very new to the scene. I mean, for those of you who may not know me too well, I've only played competitive 40k since right before COVID hit. So I mean, that kind of put a wrench in my plans to hit the ground running. But it was interesting because I've always seen it's very team tournaments are very light, medium, and heavy, mixed, and you have to build into that and keep that in mind. And certain pairings are dictated on certain tables, so it's just another really cool element to teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, was really interested, and I mean, Ridvan, you know me. I mean, I like my player place terrain, so I had no complaints about it. But what do you think?
Yeah, I love player place terrain. I do feel that doing player place terrain on a team tournament sort of takes away from the whole first table pick sort of thing. In team events, for anybody who doesn't know, you put, hey Dom, how's it going? I'm doing very well, thanks. So you essentially do, like, you put a defender down. So you put like an army to defend, and then the opposing team like attacks that army list with 2 armies that they feel would do well. The defender then gets to pick one of the 2 armies, and then usually the defender gets to pick a table to play on, right? So it kind of allows you to mitigate some of the bad matchups, for example, by, say, picking a good table, which I think really helps, because normally or historically, there's tables with different terrain density or different styles of terrain. Like some tables might have lots of craters and forests, and some tables might have lots of defense lines, and some tables might have more airy terrain, and some tables might have more like large buildings or small buildings. And so being able to understand what your army does well is is sort of important. You know what I mean? And it also helps mitigate, like, oh, I'm going to play, they're sending Dark Harlequins into me, and I'm playing, like, something that's going to get murdered by Dark Harlequins. Well, I'm going to play on this table to give myself the best chance at doing okay and putting the pressure on the Dark Harlequin player, for example. But that was, like, completely gone. Like, that didn't exist at this tournament, which I found very interesting, personally.
Yeah, like the first thing kind of my team and I decided once we found it was player optimized terrain, was honestly I just looked at them and I said, guys, like we could still skew, I guess, for the meta and whatnot, but at the end of the day, because player placed and we're all very familiar with it, just run something that you kind of enjoy. Period. No reason to skew one way or the other, and we'll just kind of take things in stride as a team and enjoy our weekend the way we want to enjoy it, kind of thing. So I mean, like that was, I guess, one of the big pluses of player place, because you always feel like you have a chance. I mean, for the most part, in almost any game.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that does help. Like, the 40k game right now is so deadly that it's like very much like chess. Like, every piece in chess dies in a single move. You know what I mean? Like, it's just how far do they move, or where can they, like, threaten a piece that, like, changes. And I think 40k is very much like that. If your queen is out in the open, doesn't matter how killy your queen is, a pawn can take your queen. Right? It feels that way a lot in 40k at the moment. However, if you can hide or use terrain, it tends to mitigate that, like, crazy aggression power that a lot of stuff has. And player optimized terrain helps you not feel like you're completely destroyed in that sort of scenario, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, back to the that perfect analogy that you just used. I actually do play quite a bit of chess.
Nice.
Just because I really enjoy that game, and maybe that's actually maybe sometimes why I get a little bit down about the game sometimes with 40k, because you're like, well, it feels like the other guy has like 5 queens and and I don't even have one. So whoa, okay, this is awesome.
He's
But
playing backgammon and I'm playing chess.
yeah, 3D checkers. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I forget the analogy. Yeah, that's what really well put by you. But yeah, it just it always feels like it's an uphill battle depending on what army you have, and if your army's not at the top and whatnot, and that's kind of a whole other rabbit hole we can go down. But yeah, just like, I mean, I've only played the one faction, and I've put my blood, sweat, and tears in it to try and wring it out at times, and sometimes I feel rewarded, and sometimes you get no reward for it. So it's a lot of ups and downs by sticking to one faction, and you of all people. And I even relate to Dustin quite a lot, our good friend from Stutter Scrub, because he's in the same boat as us, where we're always kind of in the trenches and up against the wall for the most part.
Yeah, and we I think that's one of the things that we enjoy about the game in a way, though, is we kind of, like you, me, Dustin, like any person who really kind of sticks around a faction and just kind of like puts their nose to the grindstone in a sort of way. You're sort of like, you're understanding that it's not easy to play the game, right? And anybody out there who's watching can sort of relate to this on some level, when you really want something to work or whatever. I'm a stubborn old fart, so, like, I like... I'm stubborn. I'm an old, as I like to say, I'm an old grognar, right? So it just means that, like, when I want something to work or whatever, I'll prove you wrong, sort of thing, right? And I'm just like, put my head down and kind of just want to make it work, sort of thing. Good or bad in a lot of ways. I'd forgotten, by the way. Anybody who knows, I'm building some racks. I've got 25 racks and I've just got myself 5 more plastic racks. And they did so well this weekend that I thought I wanted more. So why not do more? And I have a feeling my Team Canada, the Canadian team, which you're on the squad too there, Sam, for Team Canada.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Before I forget, I'm working on my chapter master. Working on some details,
Nice.
and I'm actually just highlighting the eradicators I have currently in the list,
Nice.
just to get them up to
Are
par.
your
But
aggressors still blue?
those are Christian's aggressors, and I am going to keep following the fluff that they were sent by Rabute Gilliman himself to help out the Sons of Sanguinius on
They
ball. So I mean that's
bro fist, you know. Like, we're a team, yay!
Hey. Oh, look, other Gravis guys with big guns. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
So
that's
many
the fluff.
shots on those aggressors, though. Ugh. It's
Man, they did wonders for me at the team tournament.
yeah,
Like they're not in my next list that I'm trying to optimize for my next big tournament coming up. But
yeah,
after that weekend's performance, I'm like, do I just make them happen?
yeah,
Like, is it that simple?
yeah. No, it's
Um,
funny how like especially when there's a unit like that you like enjoy or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like, man, this unit was really fun to use or whatnot. Like anybody
yeah.
out there in chat, like if that's how you like, is there a unit that you just use all the time, or that you use and every time you use it, you're like, it was worth taking this unit? For me, it's usually my repulsor, even though it dies very quickly. I love taking my repulsor because it just has
Okay.
so many shots. It's so fun. Okay, into the chat. Nurgle Snurgle says, great chess analogy. Nice. Dom Madlow says, hey, Skari, I would like your opinion. Well, that's a dangerous proposition. Solitaire, 10 attacks, strength 5 minus 3, 2 damage. Or Troop Master, 6 attacks, strength 5, AP4, 2 damage, 5 up, ignore involves. I'd say both.
I was just gonna say, well, luckily you could take both.
Yeah. Like if the most optimized way is 2 Troop Masters, 1 with the
Yeah.
loadout of the 5 up, ignore involves, 1 with the auto hits, wounds on 2s, like 7 attacks.
Yep.
Those are the 2 like Troop Master loadouts, and then
Mm-hmm.
the Solitaire. Like, and then those 3 characters by themselves can wipe out entire armies. Like they are
Learn that
they are
firsthand. Yes.
scary. They will murder you.
Unless you're my buddy when he charges me with his solitaire and into sanguinary guard with -1 to hit, and he rolls 8 1s and 2s on his 10 dice.
Oof. Oof.
Then it's called bad times. But anyway.
Yeah, well, that's called ha. You did not account for the death master.
Yeah, exactly.
Aha,
Oh
sucker.
man.
Who's laughing now, you filthy harlequin?
Yeah, you clowns. Yeah, exactly.
You clowns.
Oh man.
Umming and ahhing about the same for Lissub, leaning to Troop Master. Oh yeah, I'd say both, to be honest. But if you could do one or the other, I don't know. The thing is, they're both crazy fast too, because you can make one like 6 inches to advance to charges, and like basically minimum 4-inch advance and stuff on the Troop Master.
Yeah.
Those Harlequin characters are just like, when you put them in a vacuum, they're kind of ridiculous. Like, they're ridiculous. Like
They
what
are.
you get for that point costs. I played against Eric Marco at the team tournament, and I know that taking Assassinate into Harlequins is like a trap because he can hide the characters. But I know that if I don't, he can use the characters. So I took Assassinate just
True.
to stop him from using his characters. Because I can kill the characters if he commits them, but I don't want him to commit them. I
Right.
much prefer not having to worry about them. And he committed 2 of his 4 characters, and I killed 2 of his 4 characters. So let's just say that anyway, we're on a sidetrack here. The Misadventures of Mr. Fish says, Knob on Smash a Squig for Orcs. So fast, and 5 more, up to 5 on the charge. Mortals is so tasty. Best 65 points I can spend. Yeah, like a Knob Smasher is not bad. Plus, he's got doesn't he have the strat? If he charges and kills something with a charge, he can charge again. I think that's also
You can charge
really
again,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, so you can like pick something
Very,
that's
very
like
cool.
wounded or like almost dead, like headbutt it to death, and then like charge another thing. I think I love things that can do that out of sequence stuff, which is fantastic.
So cool.
Yeah. Jeff Brown says.
Actually,
Jeff Brown says.
yeah.
So this is what Sam does instead of coming to play me. He approves.
Jeff, I promise you, when I get the damn car, I'll be there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
These racks. Okay, GW, I have a bone to pick with you. The fact that the freaking top knots for these racks, okay, the little top knots on their heads are individual pieces I have to glue. Okay, look at the size of this
Oh.
piece. Okay, I know you can't see it, Sam, but it's on the. This is
Mm.
literally the piece on my finger. It is tiny. I have to glue this onto this guy's head. This is crazy, is what it is. Christian says, he's mine, Jeff. Back off and get your own, Sam. Oh, they're starting to fight over you, Sam. I think we've started a bit of a triangle tiff here.
Don't get Tim involved in the conversation, or it's gloves off.
Uh-oh. What have we done? I feel like we might have ruffled a few feathers over here.
Actually, I did want to mention, because you brought it up before and we totally sidetracked, but you mentioned me being part of the team with Team Canada, and honestly, this kind of goes back to like meeting all you guys, and it just reminded me with like Jeff and Tim, and you, of course, and it's just like you only get better by surrounding yourself with like-minded better players, and you obviously have to, I mean, understand your own goals and understand your own limits or your own expectations, and have those in mind, being realistic. But I couldn't have grown into being even half the player that I am if I didn't meet Jeff early on, if I didn't meet you early on, and meet great players like like Christian, Tim, all of my close friends right now. So it's just like it's really been I truly call it like a community effort to get me where I am up to speed right now. But how it feels.
Well, it's awesome to like have people around you to play games with and do better, right? And I think you have to count yourself lucky when you have such a cool community of people around you, because sometimes
Absolutely.
communities can like devolve if there's not like that sense of camaraderie, or there's like a sense of trying to, be better at the expense of other people or in spite of other people. You know what I mean? Instead of like trying to grow around other people.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah, you can charge twice and as a character, so gets all the good stuff, says Mr. Fish. Yeah, exactly. Jeff Brown and Christian are developing a custody agreement in chat. Jeff wants you Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Christian will get you Thursday through Saturday, and they alternate every Sunday.
Well, I mean, that lines up because I'll see Christian tonight.
Well, there you go. There you have it. If you need to get yourself your own Sam. Yeah. Applications are now open. So,
Ridvan is my manager.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, buddy. So, you played 5 games this weekend.
Yeah.
Which was your toughest game? Playing with the Blood Angels. Do you want to kind of go into detail and why why is it a little harder? And then maybe for everybody at home, maybe you can explain why you're sticking with Blood Angels, and how's the armor Contempt? So lots of different questions. Let's start with
a lot of questions.
Let's start with the first one.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Which was your toughest game this weekend?
Yeah, so I mean, I was, I guess you can call it fortunate, because I love playing tough games of Warhammer. And my team, for example, we know that we can kind of put me into other players who have maybe some tougher lists just to try and blunt them. I'm not saying I'm going to win those games just because it's just the nature of 40k, but I understand how to just play conservatively and score points. So we kind of paired me into some tough players. So I mean, shout out to all the guys I played. But on paper, I lost only 1 game out of the 5. So in theory, that was the toughest game. But to be completely fair and not knocking anything from my opponent, because obviously him and I both know what happened. I very, very much misplayed that entire game. And we kind of both knew it shouldn't have been as big of a landslide as it was. So I mean, I wouldn't have called it a tough game. It was just more of a very big learning game. And you know how I am in terms of when I lose a game, it's not a time to feel bad moment. It's time to just like, what could I have done better moment.
Which is
So, I
hugely
mean, that was
important. That's a
great.
philosophy I
Yeah.
feel more people could do well to adopt, to
Yeah.
be
Like,
honest.
I mean, I'm not trying to like, knock anybody at all. So, I mean, like, please, nobody take this the wrong way. But the common thing you hear from a lot of people or the general reaction is always, well, if I just, made my 4-ups or if I, just where it was able to kill that, but he made all of his saves and this and that. I get it. Um, it feels awful when you line up a big play and you make a big brain play and it doesn't go off, but
Yeah.
you really do have to build these contingencies and into your game plan. And if dice are the only thing that's going to execute it, I really feel like it maybe might have not been the right decision to some degree. But
Yeah.
yeah, like with that game, it was very much I made a lot of mistakes, and right from the get go, my first reaction was, well, he just saved 10 out of 12 4-ups. What am I supposed to do? But then going back on it, not being a hypocrite, I was like, well, should have taken XYZ secondaries, should
Yeah.
have played the game a lot more differently, should
Yeah.
have respected his threat ranges.
Yeah.
I did none of those things, and it
And
caused
it
a
came down
big one.
to the dice, right? And that's the thing is
Exactly.
yeah, you try and mitigate as a top player, right? And the fact that you've made it and you've performed so well using such an underused faction as Blood Angels, right? Or such an unrepresented slash I don't want to say unappreciated because I do feel people appreciate like what Blood Angels can do, but
Right.
I feel like it is an underestimated faction, right? Like,
Oh
because
yeah.
people see Space Marines and they're like, oh, we're Space Marines, right? But in the
Yep.
hands of a good player, like your art list, when you look at your list especially, which if anybody hasn't already Sam goes over his list in one of the videos that he recently did on his YouTube channel, and he breaks down his list that he took to a little RTT, which I'm pretty sure is very similar to the lists you've been running for the last like 2 years.
Yeah,
With like the
it
same,
really is.
like literally the same list almost.
Yeah.
But and that highlights a couple of things. If you want to be a faction expert, number one, don't change your list around too much, right? Just play with the same thing
Absolutely.
over and over and learn how to use it. Number two, try and put as much of what you can control in your hands and stop blaming the effing dice. Honestly, that's like
Yeah.
literally like going to the gym and saying, "Oh, the weights are too heavy." I can't do. I can't,
Or
you know.
or if you're trying to lose weight, you go to the gym for an hour, but then you have a nice double Big Mac
Yeah,
combo
yeah, or
afterwards. You
sit
can't
down all
complain.
day at the computer or whatever, and just like, or just lounge
Yeah,
on the.
exactly.
Oh yes, I did my 10 minutes of the 10 minutes on the elliptical. Now I get to sit down on the couch for the rest of the day. Like
So true.
you're
So
literally,
true.
it's like, yeah, the gym doesn't work. It never worked for me. Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
And sorry, actually give you an actual answer because for some reason I love how these conversations take like 65 turns.
It's all
I
good.
feel like the toughest the two toughest games that were very close was actually my final day, which actually made sense because we played two very tough teams, which
Yeah.
was I was fortunate to play Caleb with his Grey Knights.
Caleb's a great
Real,
player
real,
too. So.
oh yeah, he was super solid, super fun to
Mhm.
play against. I know he wants a rematch, so Caleb, let's do it sometime. I love you, man. Um, but it was funny because I was talking to Nick. Nick Blackburn's also a fellow Team Canada member, and he was saying they were kind of keeping my list in mind when they were building some of them, which was obviously very flattering because I mean, why are you thinking about one person? But they really thought that on paper it would be a 10-10 for me into Caleb.
Mhm.
And I didn't know that until afterwards, but it was funny because I thought the matchup was actually okay in my favor just because of the amount of bodies they had, but
Mhm.
I knew he would score well, so I did my best to just keep denying primary where I could and whatnot. So that was a very tough game. I think I finished 16-4 for me.
Mhm.
And then here's okay, not to be a hypocrite because I know we're talking about dice and stuff, but I felt awful for our other fellow Team Canada member Dom, who I played in round 5, and he ran the traditional Grey Knight, Dread Knight list, and he's an awesome player. Anyone who knows Dom knows that. He's also an amazing hobbyist. That's one of the most beautiful armies I've ever seen.
They did win best
Um,
painted. So.
yep. Yeah, and rightfully so. That was
Yep.
incredible. All little conversions, everything he did.
Yep.
But there were some dice in that game where I was just looking at him like, man, I almost feel like letting you re-roll that because that's not okay. Like it was that bad.
Then you remember you're at a tournament and you say, "Suck it up, Dom."
But like, but no, but he was super gentlemanly about it too. He's like, hey man, listen, if I get a little quieter, if I'm a little bit upset, just know it's nothing to do with you, and just like it's unfortunate that I'm seeing all these ones and twos right now, and I'm like, but brother, we're gonna roll the punches together, so let's keep having fun.
Yeah,
But he
no,
was awesome.
I love it. Paul says, "I didn't realize you went by Samguinius." Says Paul Radcliffe. Yeah, he's just
Oh
he's
yeah,
using Samguinius because it's a great name for your YouTube channel since you literally play Blood Angels and that's like your main faction. And I think it's amazing that you
yeah.
went for like the beautiful pun. It's
I
just
thought so.
great. It's just good. I was like, yeah, that's a fantastic name.
Well, it was either that or the Samguinor.
Yeah, Thomas says he personally liked the Sam Guinor.
Oh my god.
I guess you can kind of go with either or, right? So Sam Guinor
Yeah.
or or
Jeez.
Sam Guinius, like yeah, what that's
You
how we
guys can call
roll.
me whatever you guys want.
Yeah, that's right. Especially if you get to practice with Sam and kind of bully him into a better player, which is fantastic. I
Yeah.
cannot help myself with a good dad joke, says Christian. Old balls protector.
Oh man. Yeah. Can I tell you a quick little funny story here? So, have you ever heard of the game Horus Heresy Legions?
No. Is that like a mobile game or something? Or
Yeah, it's
okay,
it's a mobile game, okay?
okay.
And the good little schoolboy that I am, um, wasn't really thinking, and I remember there's only certain, like I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start my own little like lodge because I was super into it over like last summer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, like I'm all about Blood Angels, so maybe Blood Angel players can see and be attracted to it. And then I was like, okay, I'm like, what can I be? I want to be original. So not Blood Angels, of course, and that was taken obviously. And I was like, not Sanguinius, not any of that. So I was like, why don't we go with like the Protectors of Ball? I was like, that's not bad. And then there's too many characters, and I was like, well, obviously Ball's Protectors. And then I didn't think about it at all. And sure enough, the moment that lodge was
Oh,
launched,
you're
there was
so innocent.
there was there was like that lodge was full in a matter of minutes. I was like, I'm so confused right now, but
That is amazing. That's so
yeah,
funny.
it wasn't until my buddy Mark pointed that out. He's like, "Oh man," he's like, "I want a double blood drop logo."
A double blood drop logo. That's
I was like, "Oh
buddy.
god."
You definitely could start. You could have just led with that. That's just a fantastic cut. That's funny.
Oh god, with wings on them. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I get it. Ah, that's so funny.
Uh,
Anyway,
yeah.
that's really cool.
Anyway.
Okay, so that was your toughest
Yeah.
matchup, and then we talked a little about
Yeah.
dice and stuff. It's funny because you and I are going to a tournament this weekend, which will be really fun.
Yes.
We're going
Yes.
to X Planet Games in Mississauga, Ontario. We'll be there on Saturday. So if anybody wants to come hang out, come say hi. I'll be running my Drukhari, and then you'll be running your, I'm assuming, Ultramarines, because that's what they painted as.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I'm just gonna be running the Sons of Gilliman.
The Sons of Guilliman.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm excited for it. I think it'll be a great time. I
Me
love
too.
hanging out with everybody, so that'll be really fun. Is there
Yeah,
three? I need to glue two more of these tiny little top knots, okay? These tiny little top knots, which is like the silliest thing I've ever seen in my life, honestly. Like, look at these. They're so small. Like, what was Games Workshop thinking? I remember building these once before, and I remember why I never wanted to do it ever again. Like, if I didn't have tiny, tiny hands, then this would not work. Tiny little deck-style fingers. That's right. That's what I use them for, gluing miniatures together, and I don't have big, fat, stubby hands. Hello, Tabletop Chuck and Cosmic 3D Net. What's going on? Thanks for coming to hang out. Some of the channel Patreons coming in to say hi. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so how was the impact? Like talking about like updates and changes, like
Yeah,
the balance slate update has, in my opinion, breathed crazy new light into a lot of different factions, but especially all of the power armored factions.
totally.
I've been playing personally. I've been playing games with my Black Templars, and I have been having Armor Contempt, exactly. I've been having an absolute blast playing with my Black Templars. Like last night,
That's awesome.
I went down to. I was at X Planet. I'll be there again tonight playing Lionel, and he'll be playing Thousand Suns, which is going to be like a nightmare.
Ooh,
It's going to be a
spicy.
nightmare because they're even better with Armor Contempt. But I've been playing my Black
Good.
Templars, and I have enjoyed Armor of Contempt so much that my Templars don't just like keel over and die. And I love the fact that I don't have to take the one vow that gave everybody a 5-up impel anymore. I've been using the auto wound on
Yep.
6s vow, and it allows me to take the benefit of cover, which has been really useful to like bounce from cover to cover and things like that. So, and I'm just a recreational Black Templar player. Like
Hmm.
I don't really care if I win or lose when I play them. I'm just like go murder all the heretics sort of thing, which is really fun.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
you play like you play very competitively with the Blood Angels. You just had a huge tournament. How did you have the impact, or what was the impact of Armor Contempt in your games?
Um, for me personally, the way I play my 40k, Armor of Contempt didn't have a crazy impact
Mm-hmm.
personally, just because. And I even mentioned this on my most recent video. I posted like an audio only recap video yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
um, where I kind of break down like at the end of the day. I mean, like the huge massive winners. Let's just call it how it is. Are the Sanguinary Guard.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're like a literal like nightmare I think to deal with, especially if you have to dig them up from behind a ruin. I just don't think it's going to happen now. I mean, obviously depending on how much you put into it.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm talking. We're committing 400 points to make it happen. So um, it's just like it's interesting because obviously there it's felt, but the rest of the army, in my opinion, is still kind of just Marines, and I know that's like polar opposite to kind of what you're saying. Um, but like maybe what I'm trying to get at is maybe I haven't had enough practice with it just yet. I've maybe played like 8 games with them, and I've been doing well with it, but I don't think it's made the difference. I just think it was kind of cool in a couple of moments where I was like, oh, that'd have been one more extra dead intercessor, or like, oh, cool, you completely bounced on my sanguinary guard instead of picking up, one or two. Like it's just little moments like that, which is nice to see, but I don't think it's like detrimental to my game plan. But what is cool, I will say, is the units that I don't frequently use have completely made me rethink about them entirely. So like units like gladiators, for example, or Sakarans. Heck, I remember Christian and we were absolutely diving deep into a triple vindicator with the shield, with the shield on it list. Just
Mm-hmm.
because it's like all of a sudden you have this T8 vehicle with a 2-up save at like 140 points or 150,
Yep.
with this like really tough chastity, tough to shift, and it's just like obviously it's more of a meme list, but you can have these interesting ideas now all of a sudden with the Armor of Contempt, and a lot more things become viable. So yeah, but for me personally, I didn't make a massive difference. I think the only time where it made a huge difference was when strike marines or interceptors with halberds, for example, were trying to dig out my sanguinary guard.
Yeah.
And like the two players I was playing against, I think understood it, but didn't really know what would happen until they charged me, and I knew it would happen.
And they
And
kind of
that
like
very
bounced.
much, yeah, that very much turned into like 16 attacks with like what was it? Because they're -1 to hit, so it's like 16 attacks, 10 hits. I don't know, like 6 or 7 wounds, and then I make like 5 3-ups, and they're like, "Oh, so I killed 2." I'm like,
Right.
"Yes," and then on my other, 3 guys or 4 guys just pick up that squad, no questions asked, and then I heal a guy, gain movement from it.
Yeah,
It's
kind of
just like
jump
it's
up,
not
and
not
it's like
pretty.
I've been finding that I like it simply because I don't have to rely on storm shields anymore personally. So
Yeah,
like a lot of
that's
the
pretty.
times when I've been running like my Black Templars personally, I run a lot of I've been running a lot of like Blade Guard, right? Blade Guard veteran are
Yeah,
pretty good. They've got their storm shields. However, I always like just push the Sword Brethren, which is like one of the Black Templar special like units, to the wayside because of the fact that they just didn't have any storm shields, right? And I wasn't surprised that like they had like less wounds and stuff like that, but now I've been using them more, and to be honest, I'm loving the fact that they have armor contempt with that 3-up. It's like, and then my giant blob of 20 Primaris Marines in the big Crusader squad, like that thing is just so hard to shift. It's just crazy. You transhuman it,
awesome.
give it a 5-up, feel no pain with the prayer from the chaplain, and it's like 40 space. Like I had my brother's entire Tau army shooting at this unit, and only killed 10 of them. And I was like, this unit is amazing.
That is actually amazing.
It's so good. Oh, I love it.
Wow.
Hello, Alexander. What's going on? Jeff Brown does say, as a Thousand Suns player, telling someone you need a -4 to get me off my 2+ in cover was gross. Especially if it's 1 damage, right? Because it mixes with the rust or whatever, all is dust rule.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so in your case, you haven't really found it to be like super impactful, except here and there 1 or 2 models or whatever. Makes sense.
Yeah.
You got Don Draper on the show. Hype. You mean Mr. Fancy Haircut? That's right. Look at me. I'm like a scruffian, and he's old and up for the show. He's got like the nice hair and stuff.
Hey, you have the nice everything, okay?
Aw, thanks, buddy. That's this flattery will get you nowhere in the Dark City. Just a sign of weakness. Yes, you will get stabbed.
You disgust me.
Yeah. Armor Contempt is rough for orcs who basically have mass spam AP -1 and pay out of the butt for better options.
Is that Mike, by any chance?
That is Mr. Fish, all the way from Vancouver. It is not.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
Mike would be saying something about getting his death copters off the table multiple times, I believe. But
I love that guy.
Which literally got banned from a local tournament because of a giant Reddit thread or something. Did you feel the repulsor you brought did well for the cost? My repulsor lasted 2 turns. My brother had 2 broadsides. Okay, that repulsor did not last very long at all. It just didn't last long at all. But I didn't expect it to. You know what I mean? Like, I took the repulsor not because I thought it would survive, but because I wanted to give my Sword Brethren a big tank they could, like, move 10 inches up the board or more in a single turn without having to worry about a bunch of plasma guns shooting them or whatever, which is exactly what happened. And then they failed a 4-inch charge. Rerollable, which then meant they sat in the open for a turn, and that was not good. But needless to say,
actually, you know what? You just reminded me actually about like being out in the open and whatnot.
Yeah.
I actually had a league game last night where the Armor of Contempt actually, really, I did feel it for the first time. To be honest, now that I'm actually thinking. That was a very late game, so it was very long, but it was a really good game. Played against an awesome guy named James. He was really cool. And he was using a Craft World Elderless, which was super scary.
Yeah.
With it was like the exploding 6s, masterful shots, I believe it was, with the other one with 6s to hit, auto wound, and it was a lot. Or Hail of Doom and masterful shots, I believe it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ignoring cover and all that.
Yep.
But yeah, like he was ignoring cover. And no one else had done that to me all event when I had more games with the Armor of Contempt. So it was kind of like, okay. Really quickly, like I played against a gentleman who played Admech, and he shot me with last cannons, my Sanguinary Guard with last cannons. And I was in cover, and I was like, yep, I get 3-up saves. And he was like, why do you get 3-up saves?
Because you're AP2.
I was like, because you can't AP2, and I'm in cover. So technically I'm like a 0-up and you're AP3. And he's like, this is wild.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like yesterday though, those Dire Avengers at AP4 ignoring cover, you feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you feel that, and my Sanguinary Guard having the 5-ups instead of 6-ups against them was actually pretty big.
Yeah, well, 6-up going to a 5-up is a huge mathematical flip, right? It goes from like a 6 to a 3rd, which like literally doubles the survivability of what you're trying to keep alive, which is like has a huge impact, right?
And if anybody's had been able to play me in recent times, everybody knows my 5-ups. So I mean, like Jeff Brown had a moment where I just rolled all the 6s on planet Earth and some 5s, and he was just like, "This doesn't make
sense." Then again, Jeff Brown just complains about everything. Love you, Jeff. He goes on tilt as soon as he sees a single one.
The first 5.
I love you, Jeff. Love you, Jeff.
Actually,
then again, I
yeah.
can't pull off the tights. This is true, he says.
Nope.
That's right. See, we
know
each other. We know each other quite well. Love it. Well, that's very interesting. Sam, Jeff's calling you out, saying that you called an 8 p.m. game a late game.
Oh my God, that is like, we're talking. That's like my midnight.
Like, Sam considers waking up at 6 a.m. for a tournament late. Well, actually, 6 a.m. depends on how far you have to drive to. Like you need to be in the right headspace. Like I find you wake up early for a tournament. You're not rushing. You know, it's like super important. You like get up, have food, have coffee, and then you get to the event early. And then you're not like rushing to get all your models out. You go like you have everything. I think getting up early to go to an event is like massively important. To be honest, I think it's massively important. So I would definitely get up early to go events as well.
And like Riven, I don't even know if you know this about me, but like I played like very high level competitive hockey for like half my life.
Yeah.
So then, like for me, because of the level I was at, it was not like a show up before the game, 20 minutes, have a quick stretch, and get out on the ice for have a 2-minute warm up. It was very much like you have a 7 o'clock game, you're there at 3:30, 4 o'clock. You have like a pre-game snack to get some energy. You do like an hour warm up. You're on the ice for half an hour to warm up. You stretch for 15 minutes. Like it's like a game within the game.
It's like a ritual, like a full-blown like system that you have to kind of go through. But when you're playing like professional sports or semi-professional sports, like that's how you expect to do it. And to be honest, a tournament, like if you want to do well at a 40K tournament, there's so much stuff that goes off the ice. Like if you were to say it in like sports terms, like off the court, most of the work of like professional sports happens off the courts and off the pitch. You know what I mean? Like you mentally preparing and readying yourself like physically, making sure you're rested, making sure you're trained, making sure you're healthy, making sure you're, you know what I mean? And so when people do well at tournaments, it's a lot of the times than just sheer luck. It's about being like present mentally and not like being tired on your feet, even though it is tiring, like having that endurance and like being able to think straight even when you're freaking tired, right? And it's crazy how much of an impact that has, especially when you're on like a chess clock and you have to think on your feet and all that stuff. Hey Keith, what's going on? Dom asks,
Keith.
Skari, how many racks do you have? That looks like more than one. Well, I am currently in the process of making a couple more racks and fixing some of the ones up that have been beaten up a little bit. I will have 30 racks, which I don't think I'll ever need more of. But it just gives me an opportunity to run like 3 squads of 10, or a Hemoxite squad and a squad of 20, or, a Hemoxite squad and, 4 squads of 5, or like it just gives me options, which is kind of what I'm going for here.
And Riven, just like on that note too, just before we move off of it, I'm a strong believer that you could lose a game before the game even happens, just like depending on your preparation. And honestly, if you're not mentally focused, then I mean, like obviously, like I mentioned earlier, very much you're gonna put in, so you're gonna get what you put in, kind of thing. So you just want to go have fun and roll dice. There's literally nothing wrong with that. That's an awesome weekend, meeting a lot of new people, making new friends.
Yep.
And whatnot. But if you have the expectations and you're trying to be realistic with yourself and sit down and say, hey, I want to podium this weekend, there is a little bit of extra mental capacity that goes into that. It's just the nature of it.
Yep. No, I 100% agree. All of the cheat sheet work. That's right. All the cheat sheet work, like and it's when I'm like coaching someone and you're developing like a like a whole document with them and stuff, and you're breaking down like secondary picks and the process before a game, and like there's so much
Hmm.
that goes into it, creating those sort of like that ritualistic approach or that systematic approach to playing the game.
Right.
Where you can like it's replicatable, right? And you want to be able to do it through muscle memory almost, regardless of how tired you are, or what the terrain is, or who your opponent is, or what round it is, what mission
100%.
it is. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much that goes into it. If you add jackets on those models, they'd be coat racks.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that.
Alex, I love it. Thank you so much for coming to hang out. This is why we do Just Put Paint on It, by the way. I'm building. I'm not painting today. I seem to be building more than painting.
They come for the dad jokes.
That's right. They come for the dad jokes, and they stay for the amazingness that is just a day in the life of Skari's brain, which I find very entertaining. Oh, is this the right? No, this is the right arm over here. Yeah. Something I really enjoy about doing this is I had so racks used to be they used to be fine cast, and by fine cast I mean the most awful product you could ever buy in your life. And
Good.
so when I got one, it was they sent me 5 racks and none of them had toes.
Excellent.
So I was like, I emailed them. They sent me 5 more racks. None of them had toes. They sent me 5 more racks. So I ended up getting like 15 racks. And at
Awesome.
that point, I was like, stop sending me racks. Please send me green stuff so I can fix the racks.
And make toes.
I was like, please open the packet. Check to see if these racks have toes. Then send me the racks. They didn't do that. So
They didn't.
this
They
was
didn't do
many
it.
years ago. So at least back in the day, there was some good there was some good like customer service in the sense you'd be like, I need a new model,
Yeah.
and they'd send you like a new model, no questions asked. Hey, Mini Wargaming Studios in the chat. The Eye of Terror sees all. Oh, does it now? I wonder
Ooh.
which Dave that is. Is that Blood Angel Dave that's coming to hang out with Samguinius40k? Or is that Chaos
Maybe.
Dave? Okay? Because they're 2 very
It's
different Daves. And they are both,
very different days.
they're both, yeah, they're like, split personality Daves. Because one's like all for the Emperor, and the other one's like murder, murder, kill, kill, Karn the Betrayer, Korn loves it, right? So, you never know. Green
You know
Blood
which one you're gonna get.
Yeah, exactly. Green Blood Crusade says, good day to catch the stream. Nice. Well, thanks for coming to hang out. Definitely a
Yeah.
Dave that is propelled by blood for the Blood God.
Oh no.
Okay, so we've met.
Oh no.
Today we have been joined by Chaos Dave, Karn the Betrayer's favorite pal and ally. Who,
I have a bone to pick. I have a bone to pick with that, Dave.
there you go. Yo, when you coming down to Mini Wargaming, Sam? Let's go. Let's go.
I
Let's do
know.
it.
I have to, and it's gonna be a grudge, Dave and I.
You have to. It has to be Blood Angels versus Korn, right? It'd be 8 times 8 Korn Berserkers and Rhinos versus
Oh god.
1 Sanguinary Guard with Armor of Contempt.
With Armor of Contempt. He'll pick up squads. Don't tempt me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Armor of Contempt. Oh man, you better watch out for that Armor of Contempt. He'll get you. He'll get you, and you'll snare the entire time. I'll pick your bones, says Dave. Yeah, that is true. That is definitely like how that works. Blessed by Corn versus Blessed by Corn. Yeah, makes sense.
Oh man, I can't deal with those.
Yeah, I don't know.
We are not the same.
I know. If anything, what should happen is you should have like a Blood Angel Brofist off, and have like you and Dave playing Blood Angels, right? at the studio,
That's cool.
and we'll play a 3,000 point Onslaught game because nobody plays Onslaught. We'll play
Yeah.
you and me. You and Dave as Blood Angels versus Steve and I playing Eldar/Dark Eldar, or playing Luca and I playing like all Necrons or something, and we'll recreate like Baal before the Tyranids showed up or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
Something like
because
that. It'd be
because
fun.
we can't do Tyranids now because of this codex that just came out.
No, we can't do Tyranids now. It's just,
No, I know.
I play
They're
Tyranids. I'd
gross.
need one Hormagaunt against all your Blood Angels.
Actually, you just need one Malice Scepter. It's
One
pretty much
Malice
GG from
Scepter.
there, yeah.
Good. Don't you have like a really cool anti-mortal wound shenanigan thing in your list?
I do, and people have laughed at me for a year and a half.
You know
for
what I'm
running them.
bringing
They're
this Saturday?
like, why?
You know what I'm
What are you
bringing this
bringing?
Saturday? My 2 Void Raven Bombers. which is
Oh
which
my
is
god.
like exactly the unit that you made you put that into your list originally. I'm pretty sure.
Man, we practiced on TTS. I'll never forget that. We practiced on TTS. The book had just come out. Ribbon was all pumped for me, and he's like, "Yeah, man, let's throw it down." Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, "Yeah, of course." And like, the game was a good game. I think from what I remember. But the first turn, I was just like, "Oh no, sorry, no. We played 2 games. The first one was horrendous because the Void Raven Bombers were like, yeah, I'm gonna fly them off the board. I think it was triple too, right? At the time,
Back in the day, I think it was 3 I could run. Yeah, before they limited the amount of flyers one could have.
And man, you must have killed 1,000+ points
with just Void Raven Bombers. Yes. You know how many times I've played my bombers and I just win in the first movement phase? Like it's it's like it's sometimes. Sometimes I don't go first, or I go, even if I go second and they don't kill the bombers, like it's still really dangerous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like the amount of times I've just been able to go like, I fly over and murder your very important character. He's dead now.
Oh, it's a horrible feeling. Horrible feeling.
I think my favorite was against Cody when we had the little invitational in Cambridge, like mid-pandemic. They had like a little invitation. There was 12 of us that went down, and I ran 2 Void Raven Bombers, 2 Razorwing Jet Fighters, double Trueborn. Right, and this is a very shooty list back before the balanced slate updates, and I literally flew over Cody's Thousand Suns and killed 3 of his 5 sorcerers in my first movement phase. And he was like, that's it, I can't play this anymore. I was like, I know. I just killed so much of your stuff. Man. It was kind of brutal. Yeah. Then everybody started bringing transports to hide all their characters. So it was a little less effective. But nowadays, I'll say, there are less and less out of line of sight shootings, which means transports are once again coming out of fashion. And in come the Void Raven Bombers again.
Yeah, anyway. No, seriously. Good timing.
Hopefully we get to throw down again, which will be really fun.
Yes, and hopefully I don't lose my Sanguinary Priest in Chapter Master turn 1. Yes.
That's right.
I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yep. There's a game that's coming out against Luca from Mini Wargaming that I played, and he was playing his Space Marines, like his Space Wolves, and I hit his Librarian on the first turn with my Void Raven Bomber, although I only had 1 Void Raven Bomber. So.
Oh, okay. So you didn't one-shot him, did you?
I rolled 5 wounds on him. Luckily, he had a Warlord trait that gave him an extra wound, so he lived with 1 wound remaining.
Don't sweat off the brow. Love those ones.
Oh yeah, it was definitely one of those heart stopping moments in the game, which is really fun.
Actually, last night I got what's it called? Eldritch Stormed.
Oh, buddy.
And if it wasn't for my 5-up Feel Pain, I'm telling you, my Chapter Master is gone, my Priest would have been gone, my Librarian would have been gone.
And Eldritch Storm is scary, man.
Left on 1. It's so scary.
I still want to see someone try the +7 Eldritch Storm. Like, I know it's like a meme, but like an Eldrad +3 Jet Bike Seers +3 Farseers on foot list that can do Eldritch Storm like at a +7 would be
reliably,
like terrifying, like absolutely terrifying. Like, imagine. It would kill,
Oh
like,
yeah.
anything.
Oh
Then
yeah.
again, you'd
Anything.
be, like, spending 1,000 points of your army, so, like, you wouldn't have much for anything else. But still, it'd be scary,
Yeah.
okay? That's what we're going for.
It'd be terrifying.
Scariness.
It'd be terrifying.
Yeah. I'm having so much fun rebuilding these racks and putting different arms on and stuff and kind of fixing them up and whatnot. It's gonna be so. And I'm changing all their arms to like plastic arms because I'm tired of all the
That's
little
cool.
like all the little
Yeah.
fine cast pieces like dying. Ugh.
Right. No, that's cool. I think I personally love building quite a lot, to be honest, as part of the hobby. I really do.
It's one of my favorite things to do as well. I enjoy it. Building and like just having a good time.
Yeah.
I wonder if do you have any other armies? Would you ever play any other army, or are you just like really focused on Blood Angels?
Sorry, me? Yeah, I've only ever played Blood Angels. I don't own any other armies. I mean, like, not to get into like a huge tangent on this, but brief bit of background on me. Like, I learned about the hobby when I was 3 years old, because my cousin wanted to go to, remember Square One, how they had the GW there. We went there, and I was a little kid, and I was like, so happy. I was like, oh my god, cool, like toy soldiers, like this is incredible. And then, lo and behold, I got way more into it than he did. And then, next thing you know, Battle for McCraig comes out when I'm a little bit older. Super fell in love with it. Didn't understand what competitive was, and then like I kind of like collected like randomly 750 points of like almost every army in the game. So I have like these little random collections at my house, but like we're talking like third, fourth edition here.
Yeah. Battle for McCraig was fourth.
Was fourth, right? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So that's fourth edition. And then what's
so.
it called?
I think it was fourth.
I remember I was just like, I forget how old I was. Maybe I was like 10 or so. And do you remember the old Blood Angels PDF? Like the
Yep.
one
The
you
White
couldn't
Dwarf?
get
No, the PDF, like the straight up PDF codex.
Yeah, of their codex. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was like I literally fell in love with the whole Blood Angel aesthetic and the whole like vampire thing, and I was just like, "Yep, this is totally my direction for the rest of my life." And then the rest was honestly history. And then obviously I took a huge long break because of hockey when I turned 12 years old.
Yep.
Never played competitive before. Kind of got into it one summer again, but that was like in 7th edition, and I was like, okay, like it's cool, but back to my hockey life in September. And then once I finished playing hockey, then I kind of was just like, well, I want to play Warhammer again because I used to have a ton of fun with it, but where should I start? And I looked in the basement and I was like, looks like I have about 3,000 points of Blood Angels I collected over the past 15 years, so let's start there.
Nice. Yeah, so you went the route of it's worth it sort of thing. Like as in I've collected this much worth of it or whatnot. Get magnets on them, Akathists and Gunners, says Alexander. Magnets are good. You know what? Magnets are okay. I don't mind them.
There.
I'm just not going to magnetize these racks. I'm going to pry off the weapons and glue new weapons on if I need different weapons for a tournament. Like, I literally don't care.
I'm
just going to pull them off and pop them off. That's less of a hassle for me than, like, drilling magnet holes, especially if I'm just using it for like competitive play. Like if I'm using it for competitive play, it doesn't have to look super pretty. It's just like, whatever. Unless it's a character like my succubus, in which case I magnetized every weapon option for like the future.
It's so funny you say that actually, because like my eradicators are very much they're very much a different standard. Obviously I don't know if no one can probably see this, but very different standard than like my chapter master who I've like worked on for like
diligently
5 days, just him.
Yeah,
like highlighted every crevice, every nook and cranny on the guy. And the eradicators, I'm just like, yeah, let's give it a wash.
Yep, I love it. Scissor hand? Which is the scissor hand? That's a flesh gauntlet. No, that's not a scissor hand. That's an ichor injector. Some of these weapons are like really weird. That's a scissor hand. Okay. Where's the... Oh, that's the liquefier gun. I think I need a couple of those. I need, like... I want like 5 guys with liquefier guns so I can run a giant blob of 20 with 5 liquefier guns.
With 5 liquefiers.
Oh, yeah. Just, like, teleport them in and do 5d6 AP2 flamers at something. It's like...
it's actually good, though.
It'd be kind of scary.
Like, it's actually good. Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be really fun. Too bad you can't Dark Technomancer them anymore. Sad.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. But that is what it is. Just put on one gun and see if anyone can really tell the difference. Nobody tells the difference. Nobody cares. Like, honestly, the more I play, the less I find people give a crap about what stuff is armed with. As long as it's consistent. You know what I mean? Like, people read the codex and they're pretty good at, like, oh, is that the special weapon? Yes. And then they don't give a crap what it's armed with. You know, back in the day, it was very much like, WYSIWYG is the king. You know, nowadays, it's so much more lax than it used to be. Like, especially with people converting or using 3D parts or third-party bits and stuff. You know? How big are you into, like, are you using, like, pretty much all original stuff?
Yeah, pretty much everything, and half of my stuff is like very old school too. So I mean, I'm very much like not into, and there's nothing wrong with it, obviously. Just like I'm not really into 3D printing, just because I've never really had the reason to. Just because I like I said, I only collect and just love my one army. So no big deal there.
Sounds really fun. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Just wait till shit hits me.
It makes sense for you because you have so many units on the go always.
Who, me?
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like you're always working on something. Like always.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well it's par for the course. I have to just constantly be adapting and innovating, and it's one of the things about being like someone who plays a single faction is over time, like the more you play that faction, the more you have for that faction. And so whenever something changes drastically for that faction, or you get like, you know, like there's a big meta shift or whatever, or units shift in points or, you know, like use, a lot of the times you just are ready to rock and roll because you just happen to own everything that you need.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah. It's crazy how that happens.
No need to jump to the new hottest thing on the next weekend, you know?
Yeah.
You got it all right there.
You know, I'm running a custom Cabal this weekend.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
I'm running 5-up Feel No Pain against Mortal Wounds.
Nice.
So, just to combat the Tyranids, mainly. Like, just to kind of have that, like, anti-Maliceptor tech in there. And I'm running Dark Mirth, which is going to be an interesting one for me. Which is any enemy unit within 12 of my units, of my Cabal units, whenever they make a normal move, an advance, or a fallback, or a charge, on a 5-up, they take a mortal wound.
Okay, cool.
If they're within 12 inches of the unit. And because I have the 2 planes, I'm looking forward to like basically having big coverage on the table with that sort of stuff, and potentially just doing a little chip away damage over the course of the whole game, you know, and so I'm curious to see like how much of an impact it has, right? So yeah, that's going to be more of an experiment than anything.
Yeah, that's actually kind of going back to what we were talking actually just before we went live. But just like you really have to use events. Obviously, everybody wants to do their best and win games and whatnot. But if you're really preparing for something for like in the long term, like I know you're very much. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You're very much set on preparing for the WTC, and that's going to be coming faster than I'm sure a lot of us are probably prepared for. So it's like the more you can test, the better equipped you are for the team and for everybody around you. So it's like you kind of need these events to play into some decent players and different factions to really see what you're going to be getting out of everything, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like such an important part. Play with my new Nids versus Black Templars, and the 5++ of Immortals, 5++ in Mini Transhuman didn't help him. All right, well, he doesn't roll 5-ups like I do, buddy. So just saying.
That's because he didn't get a set of Skari dice.
He didn't get a set of Skari dice, which you can also purchase with the link down below. Or I didn't keep them in the back pocket, which is literally where they get all their power
See?
from.
The Skari pocket.
That's right,
So
the
true.
butt dice.
Yeah, the patent
Patented butt dice. Literally, like
Yeah.
everybody. I was playing Jared
So funny.
Sharon in his Adeptus Mechanicus in the
Patent
last
right?
round of the tournament. And I don't know how many
Oh.
people came down and were like, how are those butt dice doing for you, Skari, or whatever. And literally, the next roll would be like me rolling 10 dice and like 6 sixes. So I was like, yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
it. You
Skari
summon the
approved.
butt dice.
That's
Skari
great.
dice OP.
Yeah.
Christian says, Skari, how will you prime the new arms you're adding? Just with a brush? Yeah, I'm just going to grab like Chaos Black, and I'm just going to go over it real quick. The thing is, it doesn't have to be perfect. You ward it down like Chaos Black, and then you just go onto it, and it doesn't have to be too thin or too thick. You just do it once, and then you can go almost right away into like your normal like color that you use for like the skin or whatever.
Right.
And then once you've done like 2 layers of that plus a wash, it literally looks like the rest of the model again. So it's like really easy to keep track of. Mr. Fish says, I started with Kill Team, so I have lots of random guys to choose from. My whole war has evolved from that, and I treat each unit with the same mentality of what this dude does. Nice. That's why I like Crusade. I've been playing a lot of Crusade games, and I love it because like every single unit in my army has a story, and it's like really fun to kind of build these characters up, and that's when I really kind of put a lot of effort into like a unit, like, and make sure it's WYSIWYG and do a whole bunch of stuff for it, just because I want it to be like, I want it to stand out or whatever. So that's just my thought process there.
Actually, funny enough, like I know I don't play Crusade, which I definitely should, but I definitely don't put enough time towards that. But like, although as competitive as I am, I'm very much a fluff guy too. Like, for example, my chapter master recently got this model because he's earned it over the past couple of battles and all the battle scars he's had.
Nice.
It's like I'm very much still a very fluffy guy at the end of the day, and like I'm like, will this be epic? And like, will this epicness help me win the game? Like, I know when you think
usually
about it like
no.
that, it's just like, how does? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the answer is no, but
the answer is
but I'm
definitely
like, I always
no.
think about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I just go make my final stand in the middle of the table out in the open? And I'm like, nah. But that'd be cool though if I just stood there Sanguinary Guard.
It's so weird having to fight your like natural instinct to want to make a movie happen like
a
in real
cinematic.
time.
Yeah, come on now.
It's so hard. Like and one of the biggest competitive breaks you have to take mentally is being able to separate the want of like immersing yourself in the amazing lore that 40k has. I find where it's like big monsters and crazy stories and heroes and villains and all that style into being like, I need my model to die right now, so I'm going to take the worst save it has
to
get points. You know, and it's like it doesn't make any sense, like narratively, that you'd want your model to die, but like I need that objective, and if you surround me, I can't kill you. So this guy needs to die.
Yeah. Like,
you know,
you have no idea, or maybe you do actually, how many times I've thrown my captain away to score points or swing an entire game.
Right.
And it's just like, and it breaks my heart because he is Captain Savas.
Yep.
And that's my man on the tabletop, and I'm just like, damn. Looks like he's going down, old fella. See you next game.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing. You have to remember that, like, especially in competitive play, your army doesn't get smaller next game, no matter how many casualties you took.
Absolutely.
So it literally does not matter. You just keep on playing the game, you reset, and you put your army down again, and you're ready to go again. You know what I mean? Yep. Mr. Wang says, Merp. Mr. Wang, part of the team that won the tournament this weekend. Congratulations, by the way. That was well fought. You know, who knew Custodes are still okay? I knew. I was not one of the naysayers. Like, Custodes still
You and I knew.
What, sorry?
You and I knew.
Yeah, Custodes are still fine. They're okay. People were, like, literally overcompensating and just being, like, crying wolf. Literally doesn't matter. Custodes will still murder your entire army if you're not careful. They will literally destroy you.
raising my hand here because that's what happened to me round 1 against Mark.
There you go. Like they will murder everything. The Mr. Fish says each model in my army has a story. My treat to myself after I finish a
I love
unit is
that.
writing each model's name on their base. Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
I love. I haven't done that in such a long time, other than Crusade. But like
Yeah,
my Black Templars back in the day, they each had their individual experience card. Every
that's awesome.
single Space Marine in my collection had a
That's
name, a
amazing.
backstory. I kept track of how many models they killed, and
Oh, that's cool.
if they died, I put a little KIA thing on their roster, killed in action in
Oh,
their
that's
roster
so
card,
cool. Yeah, that's
in
so
like
cool.
big red like stamp letters. Oh yeah, I was big into the
Like
whole story. I was a filthy, filthy casual.
casual. I'm a very like I'm an emotional guy. So if I saw if I named someone little Tommy go down on my intercessor squad, there would be tears mid game. Okay, so I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'll get too attached.
Once you name them, they're like part of your. They're
My
part of
baby's
you,
done
man.
basically. Yeah,
Just
so
because
funny.
folks no longer get 70% win does not make them bad. Yes, correct.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
custodies are fine. You can actually kill things now instead of you just not killing anything all game. But they
Yes,
still hit you just as hard as they ever did.
like a
They
literal truck.
still they still will run you over. Like
Yep.
quite literally.
I lost 1,200 points on the top of 2.
Gross.
It
That
was
is
gross. Yep.
filthy. Absolutely filthy. One, two,
Any
three.
any big events for you coming up, Ruben, other than the
Uh,
RGB?
there's a GT down in London that's happening on the 27th, 28th, right? Next month?
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, are you going to that? Gonna
I
push for your title again?
I unfortunately I have to I think give the title away this time because like I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it because I'm going to Motor City Mayhem, so
Oh,
the
right.
super
Is it the same
major
weekend?
in Detroit, and that's like it's not it's 2 weeks before that one, but then shortly after that major I'm also going to the Grinning Demon series, which has already been booked and punched in,
Oh, it's in Sudbury.
and then the one in Sudbury.
Is
So
that a
it's just like
GT
I
too?
that's a GT as well. So it's like I kind of want to also make time for family.
Oh no, I
Obviously,
totally understand. I literally didn't go to mini wargaming this week because I needed to
mm,
spend a couple of days at home doing nothing except for painting Corsairs, which I'm really excited about bringing this weekend. And
yep, you need it, yeah,
oh yeah, it's a good reset, especially when you go
yeah,
non-stop, right?
totally.
Custodes player on our team, says Jeff, was his first team tournament. His back was tired after carrying us all weekend.
I saw his results. He did really well for them.
Yeah, Custodes, man, they're like, don't underestimate those Custodes. They're still fantastic. If you didn't watch the Art of War tier list show that they did yesterday or the day before yesterday, which was very
Yeah.
well done actually. Most armies
Mm,
have kind of shifted into sort of like a BC tier, and it's like a
mm,
big middle of the pack sort of thing now going. And I think, or AB tier, I think
maybe,
honestly,
yeah.
I agree with a lot of those statements. There's still like the outliers. I think Eldar and Tyranids or Harlequins and Tyranids is
And,
still like up at the top. I think
mm,
that's very much still the case. But it's nice. I can't wait. In 3 weeks, as long as there's like Space Marines in the top beating people up, like I'll be happy.
yeah.
I just want to see a mix. So I can't make game night because I have a casual event. Excellent, says Mark. Good. Good. Give me all the spoils. Dan, it'll just be me and Dan
Okay.
Platt beating each other up all weekend. It'll be great fun. Come on. And anyone else who
Yeah.
goes. I hope the whole team goes down. I hope Adam and Dustin, I hope everybody makes it down. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
Come on. Come
that'll
out
be
and play.
fun.
Come out and play. Have some fun. Let's beat each other up. It'll be great. Oh, Dan's your partner for the casual event you're going to? Excellent.
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 The Archon
Yes,
acknowledges
yes.
this.
My my plan is going swimmingly.
Who do you think created the casual events?
Yes, yes. Who goaded TO into making an event and and inviting all of you? That was
Strategically
my
placed
fault.
it. Yeah, strategically placed it right between the Grinning Demon series and Super Major.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Excellent. No one else will challenge my authority.
I mean, from what it sounds like, there's gonna be no other people showing up, so
Yeah, no,
it's all
it's
yours.
how's this gonna be? Just a GT with 3 people? No, no, it should. It usually gets
No, it's
pretty.
gonna be a good
It'll,
one.
it'll probably be pretty filled
Yeah.
up. So I'm
I,
looking
I
forward
actually
to
I
just
really like
rolling some dice.
yeah, I look what Tristan does actually. I think he does a good job.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. The events at Tristan's place are good. So I'm looking
Yeah,
forward
always.
to painting a lot of these little dudes. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, buddy, oh pal, this is kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I'll have to do. It's crazy how you get a
Okay.
project in your head. Do you ever get like a project in your head and then you kind of have to like do
Mhm.
it to the exclusion of all else because you have like hyper focus? I feel like I
Yes,
get like hyper
100%.
focused because I am not diagnosed with like
Mhm.
ADHD, but I feel like it runs in the family.
Yeah. For me, I'm just like I'm a stubborn person, so it's just like if I want something done, it's
You
gonna
got to
happen.
do it.
Yep, very
Like
much so.
winning the ITC with Blood Angels this season. Oh,
Oh no, I mean like we've spoken about this a lot, and I was very fortunate to obviously get that, and I'm not going to you know pretend like I didn't get the job done, but it's just like it can change on a I could go and lose so many games and things could change so quickly. It's just like things line up sometimes for different people, and I was just fortunate in that scenario to come out the victor, so to speak. But so many great players in Canada. It's actually I feel like Canada gets slept on
yep,
in the 40k community.
agreed. Oh, definitely,
Yeah,
100%. We don't have. It's funny because it's true. Like
yeah,
we have such a
like
small. Like it's funny in the TO like the Toronto area. For anybody who's curious about the Canadian meta, there are like
mm,
so many good players within like a 2 hour radius of Toronto. Like a
yeah,
crazy amount of fantastic players, and because we all play each other, little RTTs all the time, those RTTs are like veritable shark tanks of talent. And it does two things. Number one, it always keeps us on our toes, even at like little
mm-hmm,
events. And number two, it increases the skill level of your average hobbyist that goes to tournaments.
for
And
sure.
I think that's one of the biggest things is just the average gameplay level is higher when everyone is playing top players. And it's just
Yeah,
really fun to like it just makes for some really cool like community events.
100%.
Yep. That's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Heck yeah, our story.
That's right. That's right. That's how that rolls.
That rolls. Yeah.
The Canadian scene is growing fast, though, says Mark. Yeah, a lot of new players, and I want new players to show up
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like show everybody what they can do and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Fish says, "Oh man, I get that all the time. I have my wants projects and my needs projects, and then the want pile is always in flux. The need pile tends to just sit there."
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The Ottawa
Mm-hmm.
meta
Mm-hmm.
as well. Like Ottawa, Quebec,
Yep.
Toronto, like even out west, you've got like BC, Vancouver,
Yeah.
Manitoba. Like
Yep.
there's like even out east, like you look at Nova Scotia, like you've got the Rath's Reach crew. They're like doing events there. They had like a big GT like last year,
Right.
and the level of play there is also fantastic, exacerbated by being able to play people on TTS and test a whole bunch of
Yeah.
stuff. Do you play a lot on TTS? Do you play mainly in person?
Yeah. I try and keep it mainly in person. I'll do like what I like to call practice exercises on TTS. So for example, I'll find someone who I've connected with recently or whatnot. And I'm just like, hey, listen, I'd like to put myself into a pretty bad scenario. So can you mind because if I know they play that army, like, do you mind being like the hammer, so to speak, on me?
Yeah.
Like I remember there's a great person I met in the Glory Hawks community, which I know you're a huge, massive part of. So I mean, thank you for building such a great community.
Oh, I just
But
I just
it's
hang
like,
out. I hang out and I have a
yeah,
hat.
yeah. But hey, that's just like you're also just like you're part of the glue. You know what I mean? And like glue is important.
Glue.
Uh, glue, yeah. You're putting your malls together. You're like without glue, there's nothing. Um, so so yeah, like I mean, like literally, I was just like, hey man, like you mind just like crushing me with Crusher? And he's like, don't mind if I do. But like you gain a lot of insight by being crushed by another army. And it's just like I usually mainly use for TTS for that, just because I love the in person aspect of the hobby, and I know obviously COVID didn't really permit us to do that safely for a little while, but now that we're I'm not gonna say out of the water because obviously there's still waves coming and whatnot, but
Yep.
um, you know I love the in person part. I would rather play one in person game a week over like three TTS games. That's just me. How do you feel about it?
Well, being Team Canada, we've sort of like had to use TTS to play
Yeah,
international
that's for
teams
sure.
a lot, and we've had to
Yeah,
use TTS to play like internal scrimmages and
yeah,
external scrimmages and just practice like as much as we can into a variety of different things. I like it
right.
as a tool,
Hmm.
right? I don't think I
Hmm.
could. I don't like. I know. For example, Tebow, who like one of the founders of the Glory Hogs, like he plays like 8 games a week on TTS or
Yep,
something silly. But like,
yep, yep.
his Thousand Suns list is literally copy pasted around the world because it's a Thousand Suns list. But I mean, he
Oh yeah,
plays like 8 games a week or 6 games a week or something crazy. I do not do that.
yeah.
I'll
I
play
can't do it.
one TTS game every couple of weeks for like a team
Yep.
practice or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or to
exactly.
test out like an army concept that I don't need to go out and buy
Yeah.
all the models for to test it, right? And just to see what it feels like on the table. So it's a good
Oh, of
tool.
course. Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with you. The tool aspect. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. So as we start coming towards the end of the show today, Sam, I know it's been
Mhm.
great just hanging out, building, painting, and talking shop. I hope everybody has been enjoying the show so far and clicking those like buttons and clicking the
Yeah.
sub button if you want to support. But Sam,
Hope so.
why don't you tell people where people can find you, what projects you have coming up, what events you'll be going to, so people can come say hi to you
Yeah.
once they recognize your face, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, so you can always find me at my YouTube channel, Samguinius40k. Obviously all the support is greatly appreciated, and as the channel grows, so hopefully will the level and the stages of the actual content itself. So I mean, thank you for all those who are currently supporting and are going to in the future. I'm very much doing it as a passion project and just like I mentioned to help people out. So I love when people are active in the comments and genuinely asking me certain questions about my thoughts and whatnot, because then that's my way to connect with you in some sort of fashion. So I really do encourage, if you have any questions. I don't believe in them being any bad ones. Just ask away. I'll get you hopefully some sort of answer to help you out. And moving forward, I'm going to be going to, as Richard mentioned, um, we're going to be going to the RTT this weekend at X Planet. Super exciting, great store, great owner. Lionel's amazing. He runs awesome events, so super looking forward to that and seeing some good friends. I'm also going to be going to the super major in Detroit called the Motor City Mayhem. Also super excited because I've never gone technically international before. I've never crossed the border for anything. So I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed, I can do decently with the Sons of Sanguinius. But be a crazy cool experience there, and really looking forward to that. But otherwise, just doing my thing. Gonna keep working hard and keep learning more and more about myself and my army.
I love it. There will be no contempt in this learning.
None.
Not like you armor yourself with, which is all contempt for the Xenos and the heretics. Which I
Exactly.
love, like looking my opponents in the face and being like, "You're a traitor, a heretic, or a Xenos." Be like, "I'm going to murder you with my chainswords."
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah, yeah. No, awesome, Sam. This has been really fun to come to have you on, coming to hang out with me today,
Yeah.
painting. Thank you so much for just doing this. I will be putting a link down to Sam's YouTube channel in the comment down below in the comments. So make sure you head on over, give him a like, a sub. Of course, if you like the show, you can show your support by supporting all the awesome people that we have here on Just Put Paint on It. heading on over and giving them some love, because a rising tide raises all the ships in the harbor, and we're a really tightly knit community, so support the people who you enjoy, right? Of course, I do have a Patreon if you'd like to support me personally. The link is in the description and all that good stuff as well. Other than that, I think we're going to call it a day, my good sir. This has been really fun. I've got some racks that I need to keep on racking up. More of them.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll see you on Saturday. Hopefully round 1 we get to fight again. Because that's like a thing.
So I just grudge you?
yeah. Lionel, we're just going to get this out of the way.
Yeah.
Or we can let the cards fall how
the
they may, good sir.
Oh, yeah. No, but thank you so much again, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries at all. Don't forget, everybody, to hang out at home, share, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. And, of course, don't forget to just put paint on it. Other than that, I've been Skari, your grateful host. This has been Sam, and we'll be seeing you tomorrow with more awesome content. Bye, everybody!